Hey guys, Gorgo Planet Green Zen, and thank you for coming to the channel. Now, for people who've never been here, what I really just love to do is just inspire the world mentally, physically, spiritually, financially, and socially, because I truly believe that if we all had a holistic balance of each one of those areas, like a yin-yang balance, we could literally eliminate hunger, famine, slavery, war, disease, and have more health, wealth, and abundance together as one unit on this entire planet. So what I want to do today in this video is just play a clip from London Real with Ryan Rose and Dr. Rashid Buttar. And this one is actually referring to, does the mass media control you? Now, I want you guys to really think about that. Just think about your current life, what you're currently doing in your situation, and has any of that been influenced by the mass media? Have you actually done your own due diligence and research when it comes to topics, whether it's wearing masks or not wearing masks, whether it's getting a vaccine or not a vaccine, whether it's, again, just the way you live your life, whether it how it influences you to actually either have love or hate for people, and when you go out in public, you look at people either with disgust or happiness because that's being influenced with your mind. So I want you guys to really think about that. So again, this clip is from Brian Rose and Dr. Rashid Buttar regarding, is the mass media controlling you? So stay tuned.
Until a week ago, I wouldn't know how to broadcast this conversation to millions of people until we figured it out, and now we've got a way. And I don't think it's going to take, revolution and war and all that. It doesn't. It just needs people saying, no, that's wrong. I'm going to go outside now. I'm going to go to work, and I'm going to continue doing this, and then realize that it's a facade. And like you said, there's nothing to fear but fear itself. And that's what's going on now. And if you take a look at it from a bird's eye perspective, and if you were aliens outside looking down on this planet, they'd be like, what has happened in the last 3 weeks? Because this is silly. They would be
laughing and saying that this species is highly unevolved. They still are so manipulatable. And that's really what this whole thing comes down to, manipulating us. And this is such an exciting time to be alive because it gives us a potential for an evolutionary leap that hasn't occurred in recorded history right now. Because in fact, I think David Icke even said that this is a very critical time, but it's also a huge opportunity, I think is the word he used on your video, I believe. But he's absolutely right, because right now we have the ability to turn the tables for the benefit of mankind. Brian, I have been a student of self-improvement for decades. My father started me on this quest, and both my brothers and my sister years and years ago. We grew up reading Napoleon Hill and Andrew Carnegie and, listening to the tapes. And one of the things that was instilled in us is inquisitiveness. And when you talked about that fear aspect, and when I've talked about fear, it took a while for me. I was trained in general surgery, right? So we're a little bit slow. When in doubt, cut it out, heal with steel. Those are our mottos in general surgery, right? So it takes us, we're not like, I say that facetiously, but surgeons are very, they're probably the most aggressive type of doctors, but they're also, they're not going to sit there and they would be analogous to the special teams in the military, right? The elite teams. That's kind of like how I envision it. And I'm only saying that because surgeons have to work sometimes on their legs for 36 hours, and it's a tough life. But they also have to, sometimes they're very simple-minded, and they're simple-minded because they don't have time for anything else. Now, in my world, as I grew up and as I went to general surgery, and I could see the cancer, you can see it, you can cut it out, you can throw it down, you can spit it on, you can stomp on it, it's done. And then 6 months later, it comes back again. And it's like, why is it coming back? Because we never dealt with the issue. And cancer is just a symptom. That's just a symptom, it's not the problem. Cancer tells us that there's something underlying that's wrong, and that's the cancer is a symptomology. So why is it Cancer Day? And that's what we have to do. That's how we've gotten the results we've gotten, and people from all over the world without any advertising, is because we were able to come to the causation aspect, the ideological component, and fix that. Now, what is the cause of this cancer, of COVID-19 and this pandemic? We need to look at the cause of it. We need to look at the ideological component, and that is misinformation. Now, in the self-improvement aspect, I was talking about when my father taught us, guided us on this path of self-improvement. There was a book that he shared with me by W. Clement Stone. And in that book was a little poem. And the poem was, I argued with life for a penny, only to be dismayed that anything I would have asked of life would have paid. So I'm going to ask your viewers, and I'm going to ask you, when we think of our planet, we think of our planet as the whole purpose of the eugenics movement and Gates's thought process of depopulation. The world can't sustain itself. It needs 7.7 billion people. There was a white paper that came out saying that the world should only have about 500 million people, sterilizing and all this other stuff. And again, this is a matter of record. And, this isn't conspiracy theory. Whatever you want to call it that. You can label whatever. Truth remains the truth. You can't change facts and truth by just labeling it something else. So do your own homework and find those things that we're talking about, because they're out there, unless they've pulled it all off Google, which I don't think they have yet. But if you start looking at the way the creator designed the planet, we are on a planet of abundance. When you look at a field, can you count the number of blades of grass in a field? And then look at the number of fields.
Alrighty guys, well, that's all that I have for you. So what did you think about that? So again, if you reflect on your current life, is the mass media controlling you, or are you really making these decisions based on your own free will? So as always, I want to leave you guys with a quote of today, and the quote is from Neil deGrasse Tyson, and he says, "Be ashamed to die unless you have scored some type of success for humanity." We're from Planet Green Zen signing off. You guys have a great day. Talk to you soon.
Planet Green Zen, inspiring the everyday person to break free from the mundane and take action.